MS-28 Progress cargo arrives at the ISS, Starbase finishes stacking its second mechazilla tower, Rocket Lab progresses with the Neutron Rocket, ULA reaches a major milestone for his Vulcan Centaur certification flight number 2, RFA suffers a setback on his RFA One, ESA JUICE satellite performs a world-first Lunar-Earth flyby, and finally the rocket launches this week. I'm Christophe Paget and this is your weekly space update. In last week's episode, you would have seen the launch of MS-28 mission to bring 2.6 metric tons of stuff to the ISS. Now, this includes hardware and equipment for the station, materials for experiments, food, clothing, medical and hygiene supplies, as well as propellant for the station's propulsion system, drinking water and nitrogen for replenishing the atmosphere of the ISS. Now, this week, the craft autonomously arrived and docked at the ISS without issues and will stay there for 6 months to return with experiment results, empty containers, and rubbish from the ISS. At Starbase, the launch site was busy as usual. The 8th and 9th, and in fact last sections, were added to the mechazilla tower number 2. This completes the stacking operation, and now the pre-assembled tubing needs connecting, along with any equipments and electrical wiring, as well as the installation of the mechazilla arms and cable, and the Starship quick disconnect. At the production site, the office building and the connection between the office and the Star Factory are progressing too. Starship number 26, the odd-looking ship without flaps, has had his engine removed and put back to the rocket garden. Now, this vehicle is a real mystery to me. Starship 31 thermal protection tiles replacement is also progressing. Rocket Lab has published a short video of their world's largest 4-axis 3D automatic tape layering, or ATL, in order to build its Neutron parts. Neutron is Rocket Lab medium-weight rocket to compete with the likes of SpaceX with the first stage and fairings fully reusable. Now, the fairing contains the second stage and payload. The second stage is unfortunately not expected to be reusable, at least just yet. The ATL machine is offering great precision and repeatability in building Neutron parts. While I am on the subject of Neutron, Rocket Lab has succeeded to reach 102% of thrust of its new Neutron engine called Archimedes, even succeeding to produce his Mach diamond on his exhausts, indicative of stable pressure and good gas flow. ULA has been preparing for his second certification test of his Vulcan Centaur 5 rocket, also referred to Cert-2 by ULA. This rocket should have launched Sierra Space reusable spacecraft Dream Chaser to the ISS, but due to delays of that particular Dream Chaser, ULA will instead use a dummy payload to avoid delaying this launch. Why is it so important that the Cert-2 gets going? Well, because 60% of lucrative military contracts have been awarded to ULA, and due to previous delays, the USSF has asked SpaceX to launch them instead. So in order to avoid that, ULA has to get on with its final certification test to get started with sending USSF payload to keep its balance sheet and regain profitability. So what did we see? The first stage has been sent to Cape Canaveral and is now vertical on the launch pad. A couple of weeks ago, the 2 side boosters were mated to the first stage, and finally this week the second stage was put on top of the first stage. So what is missing is the wet dress rehearsal and of course the payload included in his fairing on top of the second stage. Now, the launch is expected to take place no earlier than September 2024. Rocket Factory Augsburg, or RFA, has suffered a setback this week, with his static fire of his 9 helix engines on his RFA One first stage out of Saxford in the Shetland Islands. It previously carried out a static fire of 4 engines, then added 5 remaining engines and tested these 5 a few weeks ago, and now tested all 9 engines, initiating a fire as you could see on the footage, resulting at the end to the destruction of the first stage. Now, the launch pad seems undamaged, but would anyhow require some refurbishment. The CAA is requiring a failure analysis to be completed before a second attempt. RFA was anyway working on a second rocket because they had the ambition to launch a second time this year. So, more facts to come when made available. April 2023, Ariane 5 launched the JUICE satellite to study Jupiter's moons, Ganymede, Europa, and Callisto, as well as studying Jupiter for at least 4 years. In order to save fuel, that satellite did a few gravity assists to increase its speed and is now carrying out a first in space, which is a double gravity assist. Indeed, it first passed by the moon, as you can see on one of the actual pictures. To increase its speed further, it then used Earth to correct its trajectory to get a more direct route to Jupiter, or although via Venus, as you can see now on your screen, and will arrive in July 2031 in a 8-year journey. What a patience these scientists have to wait all that time to get some results. And what an achievement by ESA team. Blue Origin has had a mishap in its factory this week. A new Glen stage was being tested under pressure, which resulted in damaging the test hangar door, which was completely off in the recent picture from NSF. A news agency, Bloomberg, where the link is given in the description below, has also reported that further damage occurred on another rocket stage inside the facility, but as long as we have no statement from Blue Origin, I shall not speculate on it. Is it going to delay the first launch of New Glenn? Well, please keep watching this channel and you will be made aware of any facts on the matter. The week started on August 16th with 3 launches. ISRO sent his SSLV rocket for his mission EOS 8 from India. CASC launched his Long March 4B from China for his mission Yogan 4301, and SpaceX launched his Falcon 9 from California for his mission Transporter 11 with 116 spacecraft on board. The first stage flew for a 12th time and landed back to site. August 20th, SpaceX launched a Starlink mission Group 10-5 with a Falcon 9 from Florida. The brand new first stage landed on a drone ship, and the last launch of the week was on August 22nd from CASC with a Long March 7A from China for his mission ChinaSat 4A. In summary, from January 1st until August 22nd, 2024, 154 rockets were launched successfully. Out of that, 99 were from an American company or institution, 35 from a Chinese company or institution, and 4 from an Indian company or institution. I leave you this week with a picture from Robert Edelmeier and Gabriele Gegenbauer of Messier 20, popularly known as the Trifid Nebula, lying about 5,000 light years away towards the constellation Sagittarius. A star-forming region in the plane of our galaxy, the Trifid does illustrate 3 different types of astronomical nebula. The cosmic cloud is over 40 light years across, but the Trifid nebula is too faint to be seen by the unaided eye. Over 75 hours of image data captured under dark night skies was used to create this stunning telescopic view. I'm Christophe Paget for All About Space, wishing you a good week. Goodbye.